Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping right into a rivalry that has absolutely blown up in the crypto world. We're talking about a brand new contender trying to take the crown from an undisputed king. Yeah, it seems like overnight, a single token launch has just kicked off this massive debate. You've got this surprise challenger coming out of nowhere, going right up against the reigning champ of its market. So who's gonna win? All right, so in one corner, you've got Hyperliquid. They're the dominant player, the project that has, completely owned its space. And in the other corner, Aster, a total newcomer whose sudden rise is sending some serious shockwaves through the entire ecosystem. So, here's how we're gonna break it all down. First, what kicked off this whole rivalry? Then we'll get to know the reigning champ, Hyperliquid, and the explosive challenger, Aster. We'll put them head to head, look at the bigger war for market share, and then try to answer the big question: who's actually gonna win this thing? All right, let's get into it. So, how did this all start? Well, believe it or not, this entire firestorm was kicked into high gear by one single event. Yup, everything changed with just one tweet. The founder of Binance, which is, the world's biggest crypto exchange, a guy everyone just calls CZ, he posted about Aster. And the market? Well, it didn't just react, it went absolutely ballistic. And just look at the scale of this thing. I mean, it's insane. The token's price didn't just jump a little, it completely skyrocketed. We're talking from 17 cents to almost $2. That's more than a 10x jump, basically creating a multi-billion-dollar project, well, overnight. Okay, so to really get why this is such a huge deal, we've got to talk about the champion that Aster is trying to dethrone, Hyperliquid. But before we do that, what are they even fighting over? What's the market here? So both of these platforms are something called a Perp DEX. Just think of it like this. It's a decentralized place where you can trade and you can bet on whether crypto prices are going to go up or down, a lot of times with leverage. And this is a massive, massive market, mostly because the big guys like Binance are actually blocked by regulators from offering this stuff in a lot of countries. And that leaves this huge gap in the market just waiting to be filled. So how did Hyperliquid become the leader? Well, honestly, they just built a better product. Simple as that. And then they locked in their top spot with this genius move, a massive airdrop. An airdrop is basically just a huge giveaway of free tokens to all their early users. It was an absolute masterstroke. It literally turned some of their supporters into millionaires and, you guessed it, created this incredibly loyal, die-hard user base. And you can see that success right here in the numbers. $51 billion. That's its fully diluted valuation, basically the potential total value of all its tokens combined. A number that big just screams dominance in this market. It's huge. Okay, so that's the king. Now let's talk about the challenger, because they came into this fight with a completely different game plan. Now, Aster's product, it's still really young, it's missing some key features for sure, but it didn't matter. They weaponized the pure hype from that CZ tweet, and it worked. They drove so much trading volume, it was so incredible that for a few moments, they actually surpassed Hyperliquid. That proved, hey, this newcomer can handle the pressure. And the hype is definitely real. Just look at this valuation, $11 billion. The market has already pushed its potential value up that high. Now think about that for a second. That's about a fifth of what Hyperliquid is worth, even though Aster is brand new and brings in just a tiny, tiny fraction of the revenue. That's the power of hype. Okay, so let's cut through the noise. When you look past all the hype, how do these two actually stack up against each other? Yeah, this table really lays out the core of the conflict, doesn't it? It's kind of a classic battle. You have Hyperliquid with its proven tech and super loyal community going up against Aster with its powerful story and, the suspected backing of a giant. It really is a fight of product versus politics. And this right here, this reveals a really crucial difference, like in their DNA. It's all about ownership. Look at how Aster's tokens are distributed. A huge, huge chunk is still held by the team and insiders. That's a massive contrast to Hyperliquid, which is famous for giving away a giant slice of its tokens directly to the community.
But this fight isn't really just about two different protocols. It might actually be a proxy war, one that involves the single biggest player in all of crypto.
Okay, so here's the theory, right? Regulators are cracking down, and that's forcing Binance out of this really profitable market. So where do all their users go? Well, they're flocking to decentralized platforms like Hyperliquid. And so the thinking is, Aster might just be Binance's secret weapon, a strategic play to fight back and take back control of a market that they used to totally own. And honestly, the entire bet for a lot of Aster supporters really just hangs on this one question. They were all waiting for that one day when Binance might come out and announce their full, unconditional support for Aster, basically making it their unofficial, decentralized wing. That single possibility, that's what's fueling this entire fire.
So, there you have it. You've got the proven champion on one side and the challenger with this mysterious, super powerful backer on the other. So what's actually going to decide who wins this war?
Hype can get you in the ring, for sure, but it's not going to win you the fight. This war, it's ultimately going to be won on long-term value. It's all going to come down to a few things. Who can build the better product? Who can actually keep their users once all this initial hype dies down? And of course, you've got that massive wild card. What's the next move from that industry titan going to be? And that leaves us with the final critical question, doesn't it? Is this all just a fleeting moment of hype? Or are we watching the very first battle in a war that's going to reshape decentralized finance? The outcome of this fight, between a community-driven champion and a centrally backed challenger, it could literally write the playbook for the future of this entire market. So the question is, who are you betting on? The best product or the best connections?